Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps this channel. Okay, so are you ready to dive into some seriously creepy Cold War mysteries?
Always.
Today we're heading to the depths of Lake Baikal.
Oh, Lake Baikal. You know that already has me hooked.
Right, it's 1982.
Hmm.
The Cold War is, well, very cold, and a group of Soviet Navy divers are training in Lake Baikal. It's the deepest lake in the world,
Yeah. Just the lake itself is legendary, not just the deepest, but also the oldest freshwater lake we have.
And all that fresh water.
20% of the world's unfrozen freshwater. It's incredible. And then you've got the Buryat people. They've got all these stories about mysterious water spirits living in the lake for centuries.
So it's like this place steeped in mystery even before we get to the incident.
Exactly.
So it's like you take this mysterious lake, you add in the Cold War military secrecy, and then, bam, divers start reporting these encounters. Stuff that just, doesn't make sense.
It's the kind of stuff that just stays with you. The divers said they encountered these humanoid figures down at 150 feet.
Humanoid figures. Okay, so what are we talking about here? Shadows.
Yeah.
Vague shapes?
No, this is detailed stuff. They describe these beings over 9 feet tall, wearing silver suits.
9 feet? Hold on, that's taller than most basketball players? And what about diving gear? Did they have any?
That's the thing. They said these figures were moving effortlessly underwater. No diving equipment, nothing. At 150 feet, that's just impossible.
It is so bizarre. What could possibly?
It gets even weirder, actually. Some reports say the divers actually tried to capture one of these beings.
Seriously, how do you even?
With a net, apparently. But then something unexplained happened. Some kind of force. It just, propelled all the divers upward.
Whoa! Back to the surface.
Yeah, it's almost like whatever they encountered, it was a defensive reaction, get away from me.
Okay, that is intense. And surfacing that fast from that depth, that's got to be super dangerous.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking decompression sickness, the bends, potentially fatal.
And what happened to the divers?
Tragically, 3 of them died from complications, the bends probably, and the 4 who survived, they were really badly injured.
That's awful. And the Soviet military, what did they do?
Total lockdown. Complete silence.
Why the cover-up? What were they so afraid of?
Right. I mean, it makes you wonder, were they worried about panic? Or did they suspect something, I don't know, something more sinister?
Okay, so we've got the divers' accounts, a military cover-up. But is there anything official, records, documents, or was this just a rumor?
There are actually some declassified KGB documents, and they acknowledge these unexplained underwater encounters.
Really? Officially?
Yeah, they even use the term USOs. That's unidentified submerged objects.
USOs. So underwater UFOs.
Basically, yeah. And these documents suggest that the Soviets, they had been tracking these USO sightings even before the 1982 incident.
So this wasn't just a one-off?
Apparently not. Some of the reports, they're really wild. USOs moving at impossible speeds, way beyond what any tech back then could do.
Okay, now that's getting interesting. So let me get this straight. We've got divers encountering giant, silver-suited beings underwater, a military cover-up, official reports of USOs zooming around at impossible speeds. I mean, where do we even begin to make sense of all this?
Right. Well, I guess the first question is, could this be an unknown species, some kind of, I don't know, advanced aquatic life form?
Or a real-life sea monster?
Well, maybe not a monster, but something we haven't even considered yet. I mean, think about how much we still don't know about the deep ocean, especially a place like Lake Baikal. Who knows what could be down there?
Okay, that's pretty wild. But if it wasn't some unknown creature, could it have been something more, human? What if the Soviets were experimenting with some crazy advanced underwater tech?
Oh, totally. It was the Cold War, right? Everyone was pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Maybe it was a prototype diving suit or some kind of submersible that just looked totally alien for its time.
It makes sense. I mean, it was a high-stress environment underwater. Maybe they just misinterpreted what they saw.
Yeah, misidentification is definitely possible. But there's another piece of the puzzle we have to consider. The local legends.
You mean the Buryat stories about Lake Baikal swimmers? I have to admit, I kind of brushed them off at first, but now...
They're suddenly a lot more relevant, aren't they?
Right. I mean, the Buryat people, they've been telling these stories for centuries. Could they be based on actual encounters with, whatever these beings might be?
It does make you think.
So we've got at least 3 potential explanations. Unknown aquatic species, secret Soviet tech, or something connected to these ancient legends. I don't know about you, but this is like choosing between 3 different sci-fi movies. What do you think happened?
To be honest, I have no idea. Each theory has its strengths and weaknesses, but I think that's what's so great about this whole thing.
What do you mean?
It makes us really think about the limits of what we know and maybe even accept that there are just some things out there that we may never be able to explain.
I love that. It's not just about solving a mystery. It's about like exploring the unknown and maybe even, expanding what we think is possible.
Right, and that's exactly what we're going to do as we delve even deeper into the Lake Baikal incident.
Yes, in part 2 of our deep dives. Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone.
Where we left off, we were like, whoa, what could this all mean? We were talking about unknown species, secret Soviet tech, ancient legends.
I know. So many possibilities.
It's almost like we've got this puzzle, right? But we're missing like half the pieces.
And I think that's what makes it so fascinating. It's like it pushes us to the edge of what we know, forces us to just like sit with the unknown.
I totally agree. But okay, let's like try to ground ourselves a bit, right? Back to what we actually know about this incident.
Sounds good. Facts only for now.
All right, so the Soviet Navy divers, they see these like unbelievably tall figures, silver suits, moving underwater like it's nothing. And these weren't just quick glimpses. They had time to really see these things. Right, and multiple divers saw them. The descriptions were like very similar. And then we have those KGB documents, right? Confirming that they'd been tracking USO activity in the lake for years, even before this incident.
Okay, so something weird is definitely going on in Lake Baikal. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that the divers weren't hallucinating, that what they saw was real. How did something move like that underwater? I mean, could the Soviets really have been that far ahead in diving technology back then?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, the Cold War, yeah, crazy technological advances, but to have diving suits or submersibles that could do that in the early 80s, it seems like a bit of a stretch, to be honest.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so what about, was it maybe not the Soviets? Like, could it have been another country, the U.S., someone else testing out their own secret tech in the lake?
It's possible, I guess. I mean, think about it. Lake Baikal, super remote, super deep, perfect for some kind of, top secret operation. But the thing is, there's no evidence, no proof.
And you'd think if it was some other country and things went wrong like that, they'd try to recover their tech, right? Wouldn't want it falling into the wrong hands.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, so if it wasn't super advanced tech, Soviet or otherwise, then we're left with, what? Unknown aquatic species. Like, is it possible there's just some kind of life in Lake Baikal that we have absolutely no idea about?
Well, Lake Baikal is unique. The ecosystem, the species, it's like its own world down there. You've got freshwater seals and those crazy fish, the Golemyanka, they're like transparent and they live so deep down.
So maybe there could be larger, more complex life forms down there too. Stuff we haven't discovered. Creatures that maybe, I don't know, look kind of humanoid.
It's not impossible. But you'd think with a creature that big, there would be more evidence, right? Like, wouldn't the Buryat people have encountered it before? I mean, they've lived on the lake for centuries, fishing, living their lives.
Yeah, that makes sense. You'd think there'd be more than just legends. Okay, so if it wasn't some unknown creature, what about the connection to those Buryat legends? The Lake Baikal swimmers. I mean, could there actually be something to those stories?
I mean, now that we know what the divers saw, those legends are suddenly a lot harder to dismiss, right?
Right. Like maybe it's not just folklore. Maybe it's like a record of their encounters with whatever these beings are.
The Buryat people have this deep connection to the lake. It's spiritual, and their stories are full of these powerful spirits, mysterious beings living in the water.
It's almost like maybe those legends and what happened in 1982, maybe they're like two sides of the same coin.
Possibly, yeah.
But then that just brings up more questions. If these Lake Baikal swimmers are real, what are they? Where did they come from? How come they've stayed hidden for so long?
Exactly. It's like for every answer, we just get more questions.
So I guess where do we go from here?
I think, to be honest, we have to accept that we might never know for sure what happened in Lake Baikal.
That's frustrating.
I know, but I think the journey itself is valuable, Exploring these possibilities, questioning what we think we know. It's important.
I get that. It's about, like, opening up our minds to what might be possible.
Right. And maybe accepting that some things are just, like, beyond our understanding.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So, ready for the final plunge into the depths one last time.
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the show, everyone, for our final descent into the mystery of Lake Baikal. It's been a wild ride, hasn't it? We've gone through declassified files, dug into ancient legends, and even considered the possibility of unknown creatures and Cold War conspiracies. It's a lot to take in. But as we come to the end of our deep dive, I think the biggest question for me is, what does it all mean?
That's a question that I think takes us way beyond Lake Baikal itself. It makes us think about everything we know about our world, maybe even the universe.
That's a big thought. It's like this incident forces us to confront just how much we don't know.
Yeah.
And to accept that maybe there are things out there that we just might never fully understand.
I totally agree. Like, imagine, for centuries, people thought the Earth was flat. Then they thought it was the center of the universe. And every time we made a new discovery, it completely changed our view of reality. What if what happened in Lake Baikal, is one of those moments? A moment where we get a glimpse of something that just totally changes our understanding of how things work.
It's almost a little scary, isn't it? To think that with all our science and technology, we could still be so in the dark about what's really out there.
I think a little bit of humility is a good thing, though, right? As scientists, as researchers, we have to be open to the possibility that we don't have all the answers, that there are still mysteries in the world. And maybe some mysteries, like Lake Baikal, will always stay mysteries.
Yeah, maybe. But even if we never fully solve it, I think the search has been worth it. It's made me question things, made me look at the world a little differently.
Yeah. That's what I love about exploration, It's not always about finding the answer. It's about what you discover along the way. And with the Lake Baikal incident, I think the biggest discovery, no matter what really happened, is that there's still so much out there that we don't understand.
I think it also shows just how powerful stories can be. Those Buryat legends, the ones about the Lake Baikal swimmers, before they might have seemed like just stories. But now it's like, wait a minute, could there be something more to them?
Exactly. Makes you wonder how many other legends and myths around the world have a little bit of truth hidden in them. Maybe the line between what's real and what's a story is blurrier than we think.
Okay, so as we come to the surface from this incredible deep dive, what do you hope people will take away from all of this?
I hope they'll walk away with a little more curiosity about the world, a bit more appreciation for the unknown, and maybe a healthy dose of skepticism too, not just believing everything they hear.
I love that. Well, this deep dive has been amazing, full of surprises and possibilities. And even though we might never know for sure what happened to those Soviet divers back in 1982, I think the journey has been more than worth it.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe one day new evidence will come to light, and we'll finally have some answers about Lake Baikal. But until then, we can keep wondering.
I like that. Keep wondering. So, to all our amazing listeners out there, thank you for joining us on this adventure. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those imaginations working overtime. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps this channel. Until next time, stay curious.